Hello and welcome to bonus episode number 3. In this episode we'll cover the pedigree of the Blackberry breeding program within the University of Arkansas as of the writing of this paper by Dr. Eric T. Steffen and Dr. John R. Clark in 2004. In the United States, the first breeding program for blackberries in the public sphere was started in 1909 in Texas. In 1964, the University of Arkansas produced their own breeding program, which has since then released 13 cultivars as of 2004, 10 of which are patented and/or trademarked. As of the writing of this paper, it is the largest blackberry breeding program in the United States, utilizing strictly North American blackberry germplasm. This university has bred several different traits such as thornless stems, erect canes, improved fruit firmness, large fruit size, higher yield, and in more recent years, primal cane fruiting. The breeding program derives most of its cultivars from the species Rubus algensis and Rubus argustus, which are the base species for Eastern North American blackberries. Most of the genotypes utilized by this program were derived from the Texas A&M breeding program, which was mature and established at the time. Several other breeding programs have been established, but no longer release any cultivars, nor do they maintain foundation stock. After 1988, the University of Arkansas and the University of Maryland were the only two public breeding programs releasing cultivars as of the writing of this paper. Due to the continuous reality that breeding programs often reduce genetic diversity, the researchers of this paper decided to look over the pedigree of the different cultivars to see how often certain parents appear within the pedigree of different varieties. This will aid in figuring out how narrow the gene pool has become and where to go from there. And here are the results of that paper. The first result is that the species Rubus algensis appears 29 times within the cultivars of the Arkansas breeding program, and on average make up 18.56% of the gene pool within the Arkansas breeding program. A clone of Rubus argustus appears 28 times within the pedigree of the Arkansas breeding program cultivars, making up 15.53% of the gene pool within the Arkansas breeding program. Another clonally propagated individual of another species, specifically Rubus frondussus, appears 22 times within the pedigree of the Arkansas breeding program and makes up 14.71% of the gene pool. A clone of Rubus procerus appears 20 times and makes up 6.56% of the gene pool. Rubus strigarus appears 17 times and makes up 5.91% of the gene pool, and so on and so forth, as you can see on this image. But you can indeed conclude that Rubus argustus, Rubus frondussus, and Rubus algensis make up the majority of the pedigree within these cultivars. Of the 19 founding clones utilized in the breeding program, of the 32 cultivars measured, the top 3 mentioned above, Rubus algensis, Rubus argustus, and Rubus frondussus, appear in 22 out of the 32 cultivars as an ancestor. Interestingly enough, a small amount of black raspberry pedigree has been incorporated into a variety, specifically the variety called Prime Jan. The top 3 clones represent almost 50% of the gene pool studied in terms of pedigree, suggesting a narrow base to select from. The cultivars bred in the University of Arkansas, such as Chester, Darrow, Gem, Thorn-Free, and Triple Crown, however, have been shown to be inbred, but 14 out of the 32 cultivars had no sign of inbreeding. The amount of genetic similarity between cultivars within the Arkansas breeding program was higher than what was found across the entirety of the United States. Far higher than Texas, Maryland, Illinois, Georgia, Ohio, and New York. The MPS rating is a means of determining how genetically similar a population is. The higher the number, the more genetically similar they are. Texas, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Illinois, Georgia, and Ohio had MPS ratings between 0.29 and 0.33, while the MPS for the Arkansas cultivars was 0.5. Of the 19 cultivars utilized within the breeding program in Arkansas, 6 of them are either named cultivars or selections that have unknown pedigree. Because of this, it is possible that the genetic base is even narrower than expected, due to the fact that these 6 foundation clones may have been derived from the other 13. The added genetic diversity within a few of the samples of Blackberry within the breeding program of Arkansas can be attributed to the addition of Rubus strigosus and Rubus occidentalis, both of which are not blackberries, but instead raspberries. Rubus strigosus is a red raspberry species, and Rubus occidentalis is a black raspberry species. Small amounts of Rubus ulmifolus, variety inermis, were also utilized in the breeding program within Arkansas. Rubus ulmifolus is a European species of blackberry. The subspecies inermis has no thorns on it, and has been utilized for breeding purposes for that very reason. Rubus signiger has been known for greater flavor than most other blackberry species, and has been utilized in the breeding program for similar reasons. Modern, thorn-free cultivars of blackberries such as John Innes, thorn-free, and Merton thornless have that recessive gene from Rubus ulmifolius, variety inermis. The Maryland cultivar Chesapeake is derived from Rubus cuneiformis, and was the direct ancestor to the cultivar Chesapeake. This addition of other genetics in these other breeding programs have allowed for further improvement and more genetic variation, well above the Arkansas breeding program, which all have the same 3 clones in their background, with the exception of the cultivar Brewer, which is derived from a cross between Rubus perigetus and Rubus frondosus. Other cultivars within the breeding program, such as Marisu and Maize and Brewer, do not contain any Rubus allegensis DNA, and the cultivar Lawton contains no Rubus argutus in their background. It is unlikely that the researchers will ever really know how inbred their breeding products are, due to the fact that not all blackberry genotypes have been subjected to molecular analysis, and some of the older cultivars have been lost. And since blackberries are not considered a major fruit crop worldwide, very limited studies regarding the genetics of blackberries have been initiated. But the Arkansas breeding program specialists concluded that further integration of more diverse lineages of blackberry are necessary to improve the Arkansas breeding program. And that about covers everything. Thank you for watching.